Hallo, willkommen und konnichiwa, meine kleine Bossmädel zu. Was von Edith Finch noch übrig ist, Folge 5. Ich nehme das nochmal auf, weil es eine Urheberrechtsbeschwerde gab. Und zwar bei der Stelle, wo wir mit, Moment, nicht Calvin, mit Gregory spielen. Und zwar kommt das Lied vor. Da, wo ich dachte, das wäre der Schwan-Song. Aber laut YouTube ist das der Nussknacker. Der Nussknacker Sweet OP 71 ATH 35 8 Bytes of Flowers. Ja, ich mache hier die Dialog lasse ich laut. Musik mache ich dafür leise. So. Ja, ist ein bisschen blöd, aber ist ja nicht so schlimm.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Ich nehme jetzt genau da auf, wo ich alles aufgenommen habe. Bis wohin ich alles aufgenommen habe. Und zwar habe ich ja noch nach den restlichen Trophäen geglutscht.
I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
So, leider kann ich mich nicht schneller bewegen. Jetzt wissen wir ja, dass wir... ne, Moment. Jetzt spielen wir der Edith, ne? Genau. Das ist ein bisschen blöd, aber ne. Und ich wollte extra... ich wollte auch ein neues Spiel anfangen, aber leider...
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Das auch nicht geklappt. Ich hatte heute einen Psychotherapeutentermin und da wollte ich hin. Und da habe ich leider verschlafen. Ich konnte auch kaum schlafen, aber dann bin ich irgendwie eingeschlafen und bumm. Ja, habe ich dann durchgeschlafen. Auch super, ne? Bis 13:20 Uhr. Oder 10?
Even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Gucken, wenn man den trotzdem noch sieht. Hier sieht man den, glaube ich, ne? Ja.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
Da. Oh, wie süß, ne? Okay. Ist mir die Schubkarre auch vorher aufgefallen? Ich weiß es nicht. Ich spiele das Spiel gerade am Tag und boah. Das schadet mir echt so. Wenn ich umziehe, gucke ich auf jeden Fall, wie das so ist mit dem Licht.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Ja, wenn ich ein bisschen
leise
bin, dann liegt das daran, dass ich hier so gefasst bin. Ich habe gar keinen Soundcheck gemacht. Hoffentlich hört ihr mich. Das wäre ein bisschen blöd, ne? Yeah. So, genau, hier war das mit dem Guckloch.
The house felt like it had always been here. Even the swing set was older than my mother.
Zwar, das habe ich vergessen und noch was habe ich vergessen. Bei einem. Und die Trophäe hieß dann ein näherer Blick. Und da steht dann, schau lange genug durch alle Gucklöcher und Fernrohre, um die Edith Kommentare zu hören. Die Gucklöcher waren ja die an den Türen. Und Edith, nicht Edith. Und diese Fernrohre, eine Fernrohr war ja wo war das nochmal? Warte mal schnell. Am Friedhof. Genau, dann gehen wir direkt hoch.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it. Like a smile, too many.
Hier ist ja ein Guckloch. Kann ich mal.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Mhm. Es gibt, glaube ich, 9, ne? 1, 2.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
3, 4, 5. Hier sind auch noch 2. Ne, einer. Von Barbara, ne? Hier kommen wir gar nicht hoch.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Voll blöd. Äh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hier kann ich gar nicht gucken und dort unten eine 7. Der 8. ist
I spent a lot
bei
of time playing in
Milton.
Great Uncle Walter's room.
Bei Milton im, wo war das?
Lewis
Bei
told me there
Milton
were secret
Guckloch
passages
und
behind it.
von... Wie hieß der eine nochmal?
Turns out, my mom was
Ja, und die ist Fernrohr.
secrets.
Das waren alle. Also die Gucklöcher mit diesen, da am Zaun und bumm. Das von Milton nur noch und das war's dann.
Reading
Das
this,
waren 9, ne?
maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Mhm.
I ate a lot of things that night. I kept eating and eating. Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
Und zack, sind wir auch an meine Katze.
I was a cat. I
Yeah.
tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Kaum leise sein, wenn du eine Katze bist und überall herumspringst, du. Genau, hier hoch. Wenn einer mir erzählt, Katzen sind leise, ne, dann stimmt das nicht.
I jumped and I almost got her.
Ja, nur fast. Zum Beispiel die Katzen von meiner Mom und die Katze von meiner Mom und meiner Schwester, die sind echt laut, wenn die springen doch hoch.
Now I was up in
Wenn die
the big
runterspringen
tree.
oder hoch.
I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore.
Selbst Like ist
All
voll
I
laut,
cared
wenn die
about was
hochspringt.
eating that mama bird.
Und runterspringen, ne? So.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly,
Genau, jetzt kommt
I
das
was an
mit der,
first, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
bei dem war das ja auch, innerhalb von 2 Sturzflügen sollte man Kaninchen fangen. Und das habe ich dann auch geschafft. Hey, man hört sogar die, stimmt, ich habe die auch vorher gehört.
Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. a mama rabbit.
Ja. Zack.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Tada, jetzt bin ich auf einmal ein Shark. Kann ich da stehen bleiben beim... Nein, nein.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Auf geht's zur Robber. Hallo? Ja.
I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper and it tasted really good.
Ah. Nein, du sollst schön umbleiben. Cool, noch ein weiteres Ziff. Hä? Ah, ich bin blöd. So, jetzt aber.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster and I smelled people everywhere.
Mhm. Okay, das kann ich mir nicht abstellen. Mit der Musik, na gut. War blöd, dass sie so urheberrechtliche Sachen reinpacken und dann... Nee.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Ja, das war's, glaube ich, ne? Ja. So habe ich dann auch eine Trophäe bekommen, und zwar, wenn wir den dann ausgesungen singen lassen. Können wir den eigentlich ignorieren?
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water, I wanted to need something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Hä, was war das denn jetzt? Wieso war ich... Hä? Okay. Das war gerade komisch. Ja, dann wollen wir mal, ne?
I got closer and closer. All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
So.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Molly haben wir
Thought
fertig.
since Edie had spent a lot of time here
Edie.
before my mom
Molly.
sealed the doors.
Hä? Da meinen sie Edie, die Katze. Aber wo ist denn die überhaupt?
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past.
Oh Gott, Edie war doch die alte Frau.
When we
Gott,
adopted
bin
a
ich
stray
doof.
kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Mhm. Und runter mit uns. Gut, dass ich schon hier fast alles durchgeguckt habe, dann
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
brauche ich nicht alles nochmal. Oh.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin,
Sam kommt ja
and
später.
that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember
Gehen.
by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Na, Streckenlage,
My
ja.
brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Stimme hört sich
At
immer noch so
Barbara's
komisch an
funeral,
für mich.
we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
Jetzt
I
habe ich
think
wieder einen
Calvin
Ohrwurm.
always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Ja, maybe.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind.
Ja.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Wow. Und hat das auch einmal geschafft, ne? Der
The
Memme?
day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Hier kriegt ihr seid gleich.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Hier kriegt ihr auch eine Trophäe, und zwar, wenn ihr das nochmal spielt, also Calvins Geschichte.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Man kann Probleme nicht einfach wegsperren, man sollte über die Probleme reden. Naja, so wie wir Menschen sind, ne, wir sind eigentlich... wie geht das nochmal hoch, ne? Ja. Menschen sind eigentlich voll Backer, wenn es darum geht, ey. Dieses Haus erinnert mich auch an...
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for
Layers
smaller
of
hands
Fear
and bellies.
und Resident Evil. Oh. Ich freue mich, wenn ich die
I always thought of
Resident
Barbara as a
Evil
child.
Spiele für PS4 habe.
I never
Und
thought
dann
about how
kann
hard
ich
it
das
must have
mal
been for her
Let's Playen,
afterwards.
auch aufnehmen. So.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara, her youngest brother, Walter, her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box.
The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Tja. Hey, die geht genau runter wie ich. Ich gehe auch so seitwärts. Soll irgendwie besser sein für den Rücken.
Rick's crutch and imagine the worst.
Wenn ihr das hier alles wegpfeffert auf den Tisch, dann kriegt ihr auch eine Trophäe. Räumt den Tisch auf oder so. Geh weg! Weg! Da, 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 da. Okay. Von Sven oder
Gang's
von...
leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Skrat.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Immer mit den Tod drohen. Mies, Barbara. So, das war das Radio, genau.
But his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And lonely he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Mhm.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Ding dong.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Tada! Ende.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Welche Geschichte war als nächstes? Ach
I guess
so,
now I know
Sam,
why
ne?
Mom didn't like me
Sam,
playing
Sam.
with the music box.
Nicht Sam, wie hieß denn der nochmal? Hallo? Zack. So irgendwie blöd, wenn man immer so die Kellertür aufmacht, oder nicht? Hey, ich gehe mal kurz zum Keller. Ja, dreh mal ein paar Runden. Hier können wir das leider nicht machen mit Edith. Ach ja, aber sie beim letzten, bei der Folge aufgenommen hat. Es war Edith, ist der... Oder war das in der 5? Egal, meine Nummer. Edith ist der weibliche Name für... Edith ist der weibliche Name für Ethan. Ethan von Resident Evil 7 und 8. Falls ihr das noch wisst. Ah, ich bin so gespannt auf das Add-on von Resident Evil 8 Village. Und auch irgendwas mit Third Person soll da noch dazu kommen. Das wäre cool. Resident Evil 8 in Third Person. Wo das Spiel auf First Person aufgelegt ist. Ah, Water, genau.
I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
Water!
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
Warum hat er sich hier nochmal versteckt?
I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster and the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it
Ich frage
got
mich immer noch,
tired.
wo er seine ganzen Sachen herbekommen hat. Also nicht nur sein Essen,
Maybe
sondern
I
auch
just got tired of being afraid.
die Kalender. Hat er erstmal so 30 Kalender gekauft, oder was? So.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Hey, gleich bin ich doch schon bei Gregory, oder nicht? Okay, vorher kommt das mit Sam und...
I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly. And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake.
Das ist cool gemacht.
But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Ach, die Bahn kam von hinten, oder was?
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this.
What if you do with a drunken Peter? What if you do with a drunken? What if you do with a drunken Peter?
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Bim bada bim bam 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 badam bam bada. Oh, Bewegungsmelder. Bing!
But I thought you should know about your family.
Ach ja. Die ist ja schwanger und ich dachte, Edith erzählt uns die Geschichte, also der wer das spielt. Aber im Grunde erzählt sie das ihrem Kind. Das, was wir am Ende sehen, ne?
For what that's worth. And when you look at the house, That history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible.
Jetzt geht's einmal zum Pet Cemetery
I think
und
we've
zum
been surrounded by death for so long we've just
normalen
gotten used to
Cemetery.
it.
Also Edith und den anderen
What kind of family
kommen wir
finishes
nicht.
building
Also
a cemetery
Grabstein.
before starting the house?
Habe ich ja extra nochmal geguckt, also bei der 5. Folge. Ja,
It's
blöd.
embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Mhm.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
Wenn man hier runter
She
geht,
could
ist ja
see
das
it
Fernrohr.
poking out of the water at low tide.
Genau, ich wollte nur mal hören, was sie da sagt.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Nee.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Hm.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Wir schaffen das. Bei welchem Spiel war das? Bei Someday You Will Return. Genau so.
I never met
War
Grandma
das mit
Sam,
diesem
but
Gleichgewicht?
I think he and
Das
my
war
mom
cool.
had a lot in common.
Aber irgendwie viel zu oft. So bei Mirror's Edge.
They were both pretty intense.
Ah, genau, das war das mit den. Aber machen wir das noch mit Sam. Das dauert ja nicht so lange.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend.
Okay, got it.
Hä? Achso, das Spiel kam gerade nicht hinterher.
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Ah!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Genau.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad,
Let me get behind you.
Ich würde das niemals mein Kind, ne?
Dawn,
Das so.
you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, Great shot, Don. I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Sorry, das ist eigentlich voll gemein, aber naja. Like, hey.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Ah, hier. Waren das alle Trophäen, die wir hier... Nee, stimmt. Calvins Geschichte haben wir ja. Dann kommt noch eins.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Ah, jetzt kommt das mit Gregory.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Ah, okay, nochmal. So. Bei der Trophäe, den Namen hier von Gregory. Die Buchstaben runterkickst.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Hat niemals ein Kind unbeaufsichtigt baden lassen. So einer. Hey. Yay. Okay, jetzt können wir weitermachen. Da, 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 da. Ja, jetzt kann ich das leider nicht. So.
Lost in his imagination.
Ah, ich finde das immer noch cool. Mensch, wie heißt das? Die kindliche, Stimmt, den Wal, ne? Hallo? Moin. Komm doch hoch.
It sure made him happy.
Ah, schon dahin. Ach Mann, und dann nochmal. Yay! Okay, Moment, ich guck kurz, wo wir da... Da, 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 da.
But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Ah, so ist es dann wieder reingekommen, ja. Ja.
I wish you could have told us about the world we saw.
Tja.
Hey, there's so much I don't understand about Gregory.
Okay. Ja. Dann mach ich. So, zack. ich mache dann hier einen Schnitt und ja, wenn ihr das nächste Mal einschaltet, also zur Folge 6, zur letzten Folge von was von Edith Finch übrig ist, dann seht ihr das da, ne? Was ich gerade, wo ich gerade pausiert habe. So, tut mir leid, dass ich das jetzt nochmal aufgenommen habe, aber naja. Ich lösche die 5. Folge und lade die Folge hoch und ja. Hoffentlich, ja, wenn ihr das merkt, ist auch nicht schlimm. Ich sag mal, bis zum Vergangenheits-Ich, ne? Euer Solle Kasper.